Let me ask you something simple but powerful. When was the last time you really cared? I don't mean doing your job well or being responsible or even achieving success. I mean cared so deeply that you couldn't sleep at night because it mattered that much to you. When we talk about impact, growth, leadership, none of it happens until we make it personal. That's the difference between playing the game and changing the game. We live in a world that celebrates productivity, achievement, and efficiency, but the danger is that we often lose the most important element in that equation, ourselves. We go through motions, follow templates, apply strategies, but we forget to ask, why does this matter to me? What part of me is in this? The greatest leaders, the most inspiring people we know, they don't separate who they are from what they do. They don't clock in and out of caring. They show up fully. They make it personal. This message is for anyone who's been going through the motions, who's been doing all the right things but still feels something's missing. It's for those who feel disconnected from their purpose, their relationship, even themselves. And it's not because they're lazy or lost, it's because they haven't made it personal yet. They haven't brought their story, their pain, their truth into the room. So today I want to challenge you. I want to invite you. Don't just do life. Don't just do leadership. Make it personal. Inspiration isn't something you manufacture. It's something you transmit. And you can't transmit what you don't have. If you want to lead people, influence people, move people, whether in your family, your team, your community, you have to be moved first. You have to be connected to the very thing you're trying to inspire them with. That connection doesn't come from a playbook. It comes from making it personal. When people hear you talk, they don't just hear your words. They feel your belief. They sense the difference between performance and presence. And presence, real presence, only shows up when the work you're doing has roots in your own heart. When your mission isn't just an idea, it's a reflection of who you are. I've sat with leaders who have $1 million strategies and $1 billion goals, and yet you look in their eyes and there's nothing there. No spark, no sense of meaning, just strategy and structure. And you know what's missing? It's not intelligence, it's not ambition, it's connection. They're not connected to what they're doing anymore. Somewhere along the way, they stopped making it personal. You can always tell when someone is leading from a personal place. Their energy shifts. Their language changes. They stop trying to convince and start to invite. There's vulnerability. There's honesty. There's risk. But there's also power. Because that's when people lean in. That's when people trust. That's when people say, I want to follow this person, not because they're perfect, but because they're real. When you're disconnected from your work, you start to rely on motivation. And motivation is like caffeine. It wears off. But when something is personal, it fuels you from the inside. You don't need to be hyped up every day because the meaning is already inside you. So it becomes your compass. It becomes your oxygen. You stop chasing approval and start chasing impact. So many people are looking for passion, for direction, for clarity. And the secret is it starts by looking inward. What's the story that shaped you? What are the wounds that drive you? What makes your voice different from every other voice out there? Those answers aren't found on LinkedIn. They're found in your life, in your story, in your scars. And when you allow those things to speak, not as weaknesses, but as guides, you begin to lead from a place of purpose. We all have a story that brought us here. And the moment we allow that story to matter again, to guide us again, is the moment we begin to lead, not just with our heads, but with our hearts. That's when inspiration begins. Not when we have all the answers, but when we're willing to be present with the questions. When we say, this matters to me, this is part of who I am. That's the foundation of true connection. That's the foundation of real influence. The most influential leaders in the world didn't capture our attention because of what they sold or what they built. They captured our hearts because of why they did it. Your why is your mission, your belief, your reason for showing up. And here's the catch. It has to be deeply personal, or else it won't resonate. Too many people try to come up with a clever why. They want something catchy, something brandable, but that's not how it works. Your why isn't something you invent. It's something you discover. It's already in you. It's rooted in your childhood, your pain, your joy, your values, and your vision for the world. And when you speak from that place, people don't just listen, they believe you. If your why is personal, then it's powerful because that's when it carries weight. That's when it becomes more than a pitch. It becomes your identity. And identity is what people follow. You might think people are following your success, your expertise, your confidence, but what they're really following is your conviction. They're following your why. When you walk into a room and speak from a place that's personal, people lean forward. They may not remember all your words, but they'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember the moment they realized this person really believes in something. And that's magnetic. That's contagious. That's leadership. You don't have to pretend to be anyone else. You don't have to borrow language from someone else's mission statement. You just have to be brave enough to speak from your truth. And the more personal your why is, the more universal it becomes. That's the paradox. The more it comes from your unique experience, the more it connects with others who have felt something similar. Your personal becomes our collective. Let's be honest. If you're doing something that really matters to you, you're going to fail. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall flat on your face sometimes. But here's the thing. When what you're doing is personal, those failures don't break you. They build you. Failure is only devastating when your identity is tied to outcomes instead of purpose. But when it's personal, when your actions are connected to your values and your story, failure becomes part of the refining process. It becomes feedback, not a verdict. You learn, you grow, you get sharper, more resilient, more focused. People who make it personal don't bounce back, they bounce forward. They don't avoid pain, they use it. They don't hide their scars, they lead with them. That's what makes them powerful, because people aren't looking for perfect leaders, they're looking for real ones. Leaders who've been through something, leaders who've risked something, leaders who didn't quit when it got hard. Making it personal gives you emotional endurance. It roots you so deeply that no external storm can pull you out of alignment. You might bend, but you don't break. Because you're not here to impress. You're here to express. You're not here to win a popularity contest. You're here to live your truth. When you make it personal, your setbacks start to serve a higher purpose. They reveal who you are. They strip away the noise and bring you back to your core. That's the real victory. Not avoiding failure, but finding meaning in it. We live in a world where it's easy to wear a mask, easy to say what people want to hear, easy to curate a version of yourself that's filtered, polished, approved. But true leadership, the kind that transforms people, doesn't come from the mask. It comes from the messy, vulnerable, real parts of you. When you make it personal, you stop hiding behind the script. You stop playing roles. You show up fully as you are. That's the scariest thing you can do, but it's also the most powerful because people don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. Your greatest influence doesn't come from your credentials. It comes from your character, your willingness to be honest, to be human, to say, this is who I am, this is what I care about, this is why I show up. That's what makes people trust you. That's what makes people follow you. The irony is, the more personal you make it, the more people see themselves in your story. Your specificity gives them access to their own truth. Your vulnerability gives them permission to be honest with themselves. You become a mirror, not just a model. That's real connection. That's what moves people. Authenticity isn't a tactic. It's a decision, a daily decision to bring your full self into the room, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Because when you lead from that place, your presence becomes a gift. Not because you have all the answers, but because you're willing to live the questions out loud.